Hello YouTube and welcome to my channel. Today I want to take some time to talk a bit about the Southwestern Advantage internship and my experience in my 2 summers of working with the company. Now, as a quick overview, this video is divided into 2 parts. I'll first go over the program itself, what it is and what someone who has decided to do this program for the first time, as well as their parents, can expect from the summer. And then I will go over my own personal experience, what it was like, what were the ups and what were the downs, and how much money I made. If you're interested, I also made a whole separate video where I talk a bit about the controversy about the company. So if you're interested, feel free to check that out as well, link in the description or in the card above. So what is Southwestern Advantage? First of all, Southwestern Advantage is a summer internship for university, or as our friends in the United States like to say, college students, where you spend your summer selling the Southwestern Advantage educational system to families in the United States. The educational system, in my opinion, is absolutely amazing. And honestly, I wish I had something like that when I was growing up myself. It is comprised of different segments for kids from different ages. You have everything from books and online games to help the smallest little ones with their colors, numbers, and letters, all the way to material to help the high school students prepare for university, application tests, and everything in between. Now, where the educational system is a little bit different is in the way that this product is sold to families. Because families will not find it on the shelves of bookshops, they won't find it in the library, and they won't find it at their local school either. They will 99% of the time come across it when a lovely summer afternoon they get a knock on their door, and when they open the door they meet one of these smiling ladies or gentlemen with a book bag around their shoulder. This is because this system is sold primarily through university students that choose to spend their summers selling the system directly to families, door to door, on their living room couch, dining table, or their carpet. But Yaros, why is it sold door to door? Why didn't it just sell it like normal people in a shop where there's no pressure and a lot of free time? Well, that's a great question, and the answer is simple, because the mission of Southwestern Advantage, and I quote, is to be the best company in the world at helping young people develop the skills and characters they need to achieve their goals in life. Now, that's a pretty huge mission statement, to help young people develop the skills and character they need to achieve their goals in life. So this company was pretty much, soon after its creation, was focused around giving young people the ability to build up a set of skills that will be incredibly transferable and insanely useful wherever we decide to go in the future. And that was the core of the company all the way since 1868. And the product, the educational system, it changed and developed over the centuries, but the college students and the personal growth and the skills and character have forever been at the heart of the company. And if you ask me if they actually stand up to this mission statement, do they fulfill the promise? Well, in my opinion, 100%, absolutely they do. I have never come across an internship that more closely fulfills and completes this promise. But, and here's a big but, naturally, you will not develop the skills and character needed to achieve your goals in life by sitting at a desk in front of a computer screen for 8 hours a day. If you choose this internship, you will not be sitting around for the summer. You'll not be yawning your way at an ice cream stand or at a copying machine. No, you will be working your ass off, running around your neighborhood, knocking on doors, meeting about 30 families every single day, 6 days a week, selling what is, in my opinion, an amazing product. And that is hard. It is insanely difficult. I think there's a quote that I think applies to this internship pretty well, and it's something like that a diamond is just a chunk of coal that did well under pressure. And this I think really applies because this internship puts you under pressure and it forces you outside of your comfort zone. What you need to ask yourself is simply, does the idea of putting myself under pressure and doing something really difficult for 3 months in order to come out a much better version of myself on the other side with many great skills and potentially a good amount of money in the end as well, is that a deal that you're excited and willing to make? And if the answer is hell yes, that potentially excites me, then this is a program for you. And if the answer is no, I don't want the pressure, I don't want difficulty, I'd rather choose something easy, stable, and certain, then that's completely okay too. Do not go and do this program, pick something else. Remember that this program does help people become successful with their lives in the future. That's definitely yes. But does one need to do this program to become successful? Absolutely no. And I can promise you that most successful people in the world did not do this internship. So if you don't feel like it's your piece of cake, then just skip it. Alright, and having said that, I'm moving on to part number 2, where I want to talk about my experience. Now, I came across this internship right at the start of my first year at the University of Glasgow in Scotland. I was passing by the university library on one cold morning, as mornings in Scotland are like always. And there was this young, tall, and extremely smiley guy just standing out there in the street, and he jumped in front of me and was like, "Hey, have you considered what you're gonna do this summer? Do you want to find out a bit more about an internship in America?" And at this point, I have to mention something about myself at this point. Because during my university years, I was like all about self-development and personal growth. I wanted to try everything and experience everything. I signed up to like every activity at uni. I signed up for chess, for aikido, for judo, for trampolining, for skydiving, even for salsa classes, which, by the way, 10 years later, together with my wife, we own a pretty big salsa dancing school here in Prague, which is where I live now. But the reason I mention this is that because I was incredibly excited, and many people would fairly say quite naive about anything that had the words new and challenge in the sentence. So when this random guy came up to me on the street and told me, "Hey, there's a great internship in the USA that you can make a lot of money and meet a lot of new people," I was like, "Where do I sign?" Okay, no, it wasn't quite that fast. I was invited to come to an information session where the program was described. I met the different alumni of the internship that did this program in the past, and after finding out the details, that it was in the States, that I was really challenging, that we'd be living with the host families, working many hours Monday through Saturday, and having a great time doing outdoor activities on Sundays, I was sold. The challenge really appealed to me, and I knew that this would really stand out in my CV. And so after 3 interviews, which by the way I attended with a yellow hoodie with a huge smiley face across it, which apparently was weird, but then I was invited to join the program and I began preparing. And for the several months leading up to the summer, I prepared. I applied for my visa, booked my flights, I learned my sales talk. Big tip: if you're gonna do this program, learn the sales talk in advance, way before you fly to sales school. I met up with other selected students to practice knocking on invisible doors and going over the sales talk, and before I knew it, the summer was on and I was on my flight to Nashville, Tennessee, which is where the company is based, for a week of intensive sales school. This was a week filled with a lot of training, sales talk practice, learning bookkeeping and how to stay organized over the summer, then more sales talk practice, early morning wake-ups, more sales talk practice, basically 6 days of intensive preparation where we learned everything we needed to know to be prepared for the summer and got really pumped up and motivated. And after sales school, I took a flight to Greeley, Colorado, where I met our host family, or in our case, our host grandmother. We lived with this very old lady, and I mean like really old. I think she was right about 80 million years old. We lived in her bedroom, paid her like $10 per week for rent. It was great. We lived there, 3 of us, myself, our manager Pete, and another first year like myself, Max. And staying with them too was a blast. Both of them were absolutely amazing and the best roommates that I could have ever hoped for. We would do this thing every morning where we would place a dollar bill in the shower overnight, and then in the morning we would jump out of bed and run to the shower when the alarm goes off, and whoever made it first would make the $2 for the day. So pretty good, paid for half of our breakfast. We did push-ups every morning, had these huge omelets for breakfast, and even, and I'm not really too proud about this, but we even developed a heterosexual communal showering system to save time, because we had a goal of getting out of the house in 20 minutes, and I really don't know if I should be mentioning this here on camera, but we would like jump into the shower at the same time back to back, so we wouldn't see each other, and I would like be pouring water on myself while he would like shampoo and soap himself off, and then we would do this thing where we would like turn around back to back and then swap. Oh gosh, I really shouldn't be mentioning this. So after we settled in, I began the job. I began selling door to door, and honestly, I think a much more accurate statement is that I began replaying the recording of the training that I received over sales school. I mean, the company has trained salespeople for over 150 years, and it has a completely foolproof guide for how to do this job well. So in order to be successful in this job, you just have to learn as well as you can exactly what you're taught in sales school and by your managers, and then replicate it as closely as possible. At least that's what I did, and it worked for me. My biggest tip for a first year would be to not be creative over the summer. Do not change a word of the sales talk. You'll have a chance to practice plenty of creativity back at uni in art classes, or just become a dad, because trust me, you will need a lot of creativity to figure out what the hell to do with a baby to keep him entertained. So that's exactly what I did in my first summer. I worked the hours that I was told to, I knocked on the number of doors that I was meant to, and I sold just above the average of their first year sales. I think the average of first year earns is about $8,000 in revenue. I was right around the $9,000 mark. So yeah, I sold just a little bit more than the average. I sold day after day, 6 days a week. I had a couple of days where I sold even 4 customers a day, which was amazing. Other days I sold completely nothing the whole day. Some days I felt like on top of the world and super motivated, and one time I even sat down on a curb for an hour and just cried. Yep, even that happens. And yeah, it was really difficult. The rejection was hard and it happened over and over again, but the rejection always lasts just a few seconds. A lot of the day I actually spent inside of people's homes, sitting down with their kids, and that was great fun. Once they knew what I was doing, they tended to be really friendly, and when leaving they would give me snacks, granola bars and cookies, so that was great as well. I remember that in my first day I made a customer, which was an amazing feeling to have a customer in the first day. It was an American Mexican dad who had this cute little girl, and he really liked the books of colors and numbers that we had because they were both in English and Spanish. And I remember going through the sales talk, which has different stages. You know, it has like the introduction where you come up to the door, then there's the rapport building stage, then there's like the demonstration of products, a couple more stages, and in the end you have the close when you actually sell the product and they pay you, you collect the payment. And I remember going through these stages and being like, whoa, I've never gotten this far. It's like, whoa, I'm like building rapport. I'm like doing the demonstration. Whoa, I'm like getting up to the close. And then the close began and I was like, woohoo, I'm going through the close. And then finally I say the magic words, do you want to pay by card or cash? And the dad was like, I'll pay by card. And I was like so wowed that I completely forgot the process for charging someone's credit card. I knew we had to do it through a phone, but I completely just blanked up, and I ended up apologizing to him and writing down their credit card number on a napkin to charge it later in the evening when I got to our host family back at home, which is, by the way, totally not the right way of doing things. But the guy was super nice, and he even ended up lending me his bicycle for the whole first summer, which is amazing. So I worked Mondays through Saturdays, and then on Sundays we met up with all of the different people, the different students that were doing this program that stayed around the different host families in the area, and then we just had a lot of fun. We went whitewater rafting, we visited a baseball game, we went to a theme park. One Sunday we even had a barbecue with a family to whom someone actually sold books to. So yeah, Sundays were amazing, and that pretty much kind of summarizes the summer. You live with a host family, you work a lot of hours, 6 days a week for 12 weeks, repeating over and over and over the same sales talk and doing your best. And then on Sundays you have this great meetings with the whole team and do some great activities. And at the end of the 12 weeks you fly or drive back to Nashville, Tennessee, where you receive your check, which in my case was around $9,000. And after my first summer, I was actually invited to come back as a manager. And at first I was like, no, thank you. This was great. I made some good money. I've had an amazing CV experience. I learned a lot, but I do not want to repeat this. I kind of felt like I held my breath and dived underwater, deep underwater for 12 weeks, and that I came out on the other side. I was happy, and I did not want to have anything to do with repeating this experience again. But then my manager, Amy, told me how as a manager I would get a chance to recruit my own team and then train them to do this job and motivate them through the summer, and how great this would be for my CV. And after a few days of this and that, I was like, where do I sign? At the end of the day, I was still a sucker for anything that carried improve your CV in it. So I signed up for the second summer. And I was able to recruit an amazingly large team of one single person at my uni, show her how to do the job, and together with the rest of the team from Scotland, we flew out for my second summer in the States. And as a manager, I still sold Monday through Saturday, the same way as I would have done before, but what was different is that now I had to be responsible to help a team of first years, not only the girl that I recruited, but all of the other first years as well, to have a great summer. Some days I got first years actually following me through the field and watching how I do things. Then every Sunday I would sit down with a couple of first years to just chat to them about how their week went, listen to them, give them some tips, some advice. I would help organize activities for the Sundays. We would have calls to discuss how everyone was doing with the other managers. And I actually even flew out earlier that summer to help find and organize some host families for the first years. So although Mondays through Saturdays I still sold in the same way as always, there was a lot more responsibility, a lot more management, a lot more dealing with not only my issues, which the first summer was all about me and my problems, but this time actually other people's issues as well. So I learned a lot more about management and leadership, and in my second summer, quite frankly, I sold a lot more as well. I actually made $24,000 in my second summer. And just for your info, that is not typical. On average, someone in their second summer makes around $11,000. There were actually two things that I think worked well for me in the second summer. One small thing that definitely helped was, and this was purely to do with luck and unfortunately not someone that everyone can replicate or achieve in their summer. In my second summer, I was based in Glenwood Springs, Colorado, and it had a very large Hispanic population there. And being from Spain, I could naturally talk with these families, and that built instant rapport with everyone, as nobody expected that I would be speaking Spanish, but also as these people were not so used to door-to-door salespeople because most of them are English speaking. So that was actually one thing that helped me out a little bit as well, but much more important than that is that in sales school, Southwestern Advantage drills one concept into your head over and over and over and over again. And that is the power of names and referrals. It's something that's repeated over and over again. Learn to use names. Remember how to use names. Learn to use more names. And I didn't get this in my first summer. Most first years don't really take advantage of this. They don't really understand the power. But it's basically, whenever you make a sale, you try to get as many referrals as possible to other friends and families of your customer who may also be interested in this product. And this really clicked for me in the second summer. And it's absolutely an amazing feeling to knock on someone's door, be like, hey, yeah, your best friend Susie, I was with her earlier on yesterday and she picked up these great books and website and then she recommended me to come over and speak to you and show them to you. And then you just watch the law of keeping up with the Joneses kick in. I had countless families just buy because their siblings, friends, or just someone they knew brought the books, and that made a massive difference. So if anything, if you're considering the program, truly learn how to use names effectively. It will do magic for you. And yeah, so that was a little bit about my second summer. At the end, I decided not to continue for the third summer, even though I had the choice to do so. I was focused more on going to studying abroad in China and doing something else. But 8 years later, I still apply the things that I learned from the book field. I applied the skills that I learned in the book field when opening and managing and recruiting new teachers for our dance school here in Prague. I applied the skills I learned from the program to buy and negotiate prices in rental properties. And even more generically, I feel like one of the things the program really teaches you is just to listen to people and to put their thoughts and ideas and needs before your own. And I feel like I'm a lot of a better listener now thanks to the program as well. So if you're considering this program, then by all means go ahead and do it. Bear in mind that it is very challenging, but that it's absolutely by far the best thing that you can do with your summer if your goal is to become a better person, grow your skills, grow your character, and have something incredible to put on your CV. And with that thought, I'm gonna end right here. Thank you so much for watching. I also actually made a separate video talking about the controversy about the company and why, if you search Southwestern Advantage online, you'll find a lot of positive and incredible reviews, but also quite a bit of negative comments as well. So if you're interested a little bit about that, then feel free to watch the video, link in the description and in the card above. Thank you again so much for watching. Feel free to destroy the like button if you found this video useful, and have an amazing day.